Hi guys, in this video we're gonna go over number one launchpad, Daomaker. I'm gonna show you how to participate in token sales that take place there. We're gonna break down the tier system that they have. Also, I'm gonna reveal how much money you can make with Daomaker. We're gonna go over all little tricky details that you may confront. And finally, I'm gonna give my verdict whether it's worth investing in. And before we jump in, my name is Arseny, welcome to Vesper channel, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started. So the video is going to be split up in two parts. In the first part, we're going to talk about the launchpad itself, and in the second part, we're going to talk about the most important aspect, most important factor when it comes to evaluating launchpads. It's tokenomics, and in particular, we're going to talk about its token. We're going to discuss whether it's inflationary or deflationary. And so let's jump into the first part. And before we jump into breaking down all mechanics of Daomaker, let's quickly talk about why this launchpad is worth mentioning. So if I go to CryptoRank and you go to IDO and IO tab, then you go to IDO platform ROI, here Daomaker is going to be on the top, and this is because they have the highest average current ROI. And this really implies a lot about the quality of the projects that are launched on Daomaker. Usually with all tokens and coins that are newly launched, after their ICO takes place, the hype just goes down and the price of the token just declines alone. But with Daomaker, we can see that even during a very harsh bear market, most of the projects on average are still on a 2x return for their investors. Whereas for other projects, this unfortunately cannot be really said. Now let's also briefly talk about most important statistics of Daomaker. So the current price of its token is $2 and the entry threshold is $2,000, which means that you need at least $4,000 to get started. So yeah, this is a high-end launchpad, meaning that not everyone can necessarily join its offerings, the token proposals that it does, but don't get disappointed. And then I'm going to show you a way how you can still leverage Daomaker without necessarily buying its tokens to get in the most of pre-sales that it does. So the current average ROI is 2x and the all-time high average ROI is 42x. Now they have done over 100 ICOs and they have raised over $40 million. If we look at their statistics, we can see that most of the projects that are launched on Daomaker are GameFi projects. Also, they have a big focus on DeFi, blockchain infrastructure, and some others. Now, to give you an estimate of how much money you can make with Daomaker, here you can see its all-time high ROI for its projects, and you can see that more than 50 startups, crypto startups that were launched on Daomaker, they brought over 50x return. Now, how you can participate in Daomaker IDOs, or how they call it SHOs. So right now they're doing an MSD IDO, and here you can click on see details. You can read a very basic description of what this app does. What makes Daomaker special is that the information that they provide you about the project is very detailed and very thorough. So without even investigating and going to the website of the project and reading its white paper, you can still get a very good idea and estimation of how strong, how successful it can become after the launch. So Daomaker does a very good job in terms of showing you, presenting you all key points that you need to be aware of. You can even see all of the tokenomics very detailed, and you can see the whole release schedule so that you can understand when new unlocks are going to be taking place and when the price may be dumped because of the tokens that get released. So this is very, very useful. Now let's talk about SHO and how you can participate in token sale on Daomaker. So we're going to do this using the example of the most recent project that's going to be launched on Daomaker and that actually just been launched on Daomaker. But to be honest with you, I don't believe that this is a good one, but we're going to use it merely as an example. So here you can see the SHO total raise, which is $250,000, and this is just shows how much capital this project is raising. Here what's even more important is allocation per winner, and the allocation here varies from $100 to $3,300. This means that investors and participants of Daomaker are going to be able to invest exactly from $100 to $3,300. And now the question is, what affects the size of your allocation? So the more DAO tokens you stake, the greater are your chances into getting a good allocation. Tier 1 participants are those that hold 2,000 tokens. Now if you get to Tier 2 and you hold 4,000 tokens, this means that your chances of winning an SHO is 10%. And you can get up to, and if you do win, then you're gonna get 2 allocations. Now there's also Tier 3, Tier 4, Tier 5, and when you get to Tier 5, your chances are 150%. This means that anytime the token sale happens, you for sure gonna get your allocation, and you can can get up to 33 allocations per ICO. And not only you need to purchase those tokens, but also you need to stake them in their system. The staking rules are very harsh. So for example, if you begin to stake, then you have done a couple of IDOs and you won your allocation and you have actually bought it, but then for example your staking period ends, and we're going to get to this a little bit later in the video, then all of the unvested, all of the not locked tokens, you just lose all of them. Which means that if you get into this, then you need to be staking like almost forever, as long as you still have any tokens that you would like to get that are not unlocked yet from token sales that took place before. And if you unstake too early, then you're gonna lose most of the tokens that were out there. Then you're gonna get a fee, and those fees are very high. They're very detailed, described in their FAQ section in the staking category, and you can read through it here. But long story short, never unstake early. And also don't unstake late, because if your staking period ends and then you forget to restake, then again you're gonna lose all of the tokens that you would get otherwise with the time in the projects that you have participated in. So I highly recommend to go through their FAQ section and read through every single thing here before you decide to make an investment, and especially pay very close attention to their staking. This is here you can mess up literally all of your profits. Now let's also talk about possible returns that you can make with their staking system and their ICO yield system. So this is called venture yield, and venture yield stands for both ways that you're profiting from Daomaker. So the first one is from staking. So for longer you decide to stake the tokens, like for example if you stake for 3 years, then your appreciation rate per year is almost 30%. But if you do just like 30 days, then it's only 2% a year. So that's how they incentivize its users to continue staking and staking for very long periods of time and not to get the tokens out. So of course you not only benefit from freezing essentially these tokens and getting return on them, which can be up to 30% a year, but of course obviously you participate in their IDOs and you get returns from there. And you can see here that with the current price of their DAO, which is at roughly $1.5, so let's say it's $3, you're going to be profiting on average, according to their calculator, which relies on their previous statistics, on their previous numbers, you're going to be profiting 700% appreciation per year. But a very quick disclaimer, those numbers, they come from their previous statistics. Of course you cannot see the future, and this does not guarantee you that you're going to be still getting those returns in their future IDOs. It's only what they would be getting from their previous ones. Now let's also quickly talk about their social medias, and their main social media platform is Twitter, as it is for most launchpads, and here they have almost 400,000 subscribers. They post stuff every single day, and they do a decent job in terms of keeping their users updated about the news, both from the launchpad Daomaker and from the projects that are listed on there. So definitely it's worth following if you're going to be investing in Daomaker. Also, they have a great Telegram channel, and if you want to save your time and just focus on the most important information that's posted by them, then definitely Telegram channel, Telegram announcement channel is a better option, since here they do on average 3 to 5 posts a week, and it's only about the most important events, most significant stuff that's going on out there. Now let's get to the second part where we talk about the token of Daomaker, because again, in order to participate in its IDOs, you need to buy and stake it for a very long period of time. And of course you don't want to end up in a situation where you've bought it for like $2 and then in 3 years it went down like to a few cents. This would be a nightmare. Let's talk about all aspects of its tokenomics. So first I would like to begin with Dune. It's a very good analytics tool, and here you can see that right now there are 8,000 wallets that are holding DAO token. But what's more important is the rate of change of the number of those holders per day, because the more holders there are, if the Daomaker is an interesting launchpad for investors, more investors are going to join in and buy DAO token and drive the price up. So let's investigate this important factor. So at the beginning, back in 2021, they had around 4,000 holders. Then during the bull run, they had around 13,000. Now back in January, at the beginning of this year, they had around 8,000 holders. Right before the Luna crashed, they had the same amount, which is 8,000 wallets. And right now, they also have 8,000 wallets. So this is a very good sign, because even during such turbulent times as now, they still didn't lose a lot of users. And this is again thanks to their very strict and very incentive-based staking system. But when it comes to DAO ownership, this is where it gets a little bit sketchy. Most of the tokens are concentrated in the hands of very big investors who hold most of it, and only a very little fraction belongs to smaller investors and regular retail investors like you and me. So this opens up a window of possibilities that the price of DAO token can be manipulated by those huge whales who hold most of the tokens. They can drive the price up when they want, or they can bring it down when they want. So this is something that you need to be aware of and you need to keep in mind when making your investment decision. Another big caveat is that right now only 35% of tokens are released, and all other ones, they're still locked and they still belong to those huge whales, as we have seen from the previous screen. And so when those tokens are going to be released, nobody knows whether they're going to be dumped on the market, and this is going to create a very strong selling pressure on the token and bring its price down. So be aware of that. Now let's talk about its tokenomics. So the good news is that private investors, who usually are those who can really destroy the project by selling all of the tokens and taking out their profits as soon as those tokens get unlocked, they have already exited. So you can see that the tokens for private sale investors, they were unlocked back in February, so like 5 months ago. So all of the tokens that are to be unlocked, they're going to be available to Daomaker's advisors, team, and the rest is going to go to ecosystem and for their growth. And the team, the biggest holder of those locked tokens, they're the ones who usually are least interested in selling all coins at once and dumping the price. So hopefully they won't do it. They're gonna be smart and wise in terms of that, and they will be selling very gradually, but who knows? So just be aware of that. Another very great article that's written about Daomaker's token, I'm gonna link it down in the description so that you can read it. It also brings up this question whether DAO is inflation or deflationary token, but the key point is here. So at the same time, the DAO team carefully assessed all strategic investors and reduced allocations of many venture capitals that either brought no significant value or in fact repeatedly forwarded low quality to outright scam quality startups to Daomaker. And then they have decided to take those funds from those investors and give them back to the community with venture yield. So this small, actually quite significant detail shows that the team is very interested in growing the token in the long term instead of just doing the quick profits today. They're interested in the long-term growth, taking Daomaker to the next level in the future. Now, there are two very great articles that cover how venture yield works and why it was introduced in the first place, but I'm just going to summarize it very quickly. So at some point they have looked at this graph, and here they saw that the number of users that are here, and they have seen that the number of token holders is essentially stays the same. So there are new users, they join and become DAO holders, and at the same time there are those who buy Daomaker just to participate in one or two projects and then leave the platform, and they sell those DAO tokens, bringing the price down. So they thought about, well, how can we reward those holders, those participants who buy DAO token and hold it for a while and participate in multiple ICOs and not just a few and then leave. And they came up with venture yield. Again, I strongly advise you to read through this article, but in short, every time a user participates and wins an allocation in SHO, he pays 20% fee of the project's tokens that he's bought, and then those tokens are used by Daomaker. Daomaker sells them, so it converts them to stable coins and then uses those stable coins to buy back Daomaker token. This is the first revenue stream that they use for paying back venture yield stakers. Now, the second source of venture yield tokens comes from the fees. So apparently a lot of users forget about their staking in Daomaker, and they get fees, and then those fees are used to pay back those users who were on time, who were functional, and who did everything on time. The third source of DAO tokens for venture yield comes from the old tokens that were purchased by venture capitals, so by big institutional investors who invested in Daomaker when they were launched. But Daomaker decided that they were not bringing enough value to them and took those tokens, those 3.5 million tokens, and used them for venture yields. So now that we know both sides of the coin, we know that there are some bad aspects, like for example having only 35% of tokens circulate in supply. There is also a good side of the coin that says that, well, first, those tokens that are going to be unlocked, they belong to ecosystem and the team of the project that are very interested in growing Daomaker and not just ruining its old tokenomics by selling all of the unlocked tokens and just destroying its price to like few cents. And also we have seen that in the previous, the team has shown that they're interested in the long-term growth, and they're even willing to get rid of investors that, in their opinion, were not bringing enough value to Daomaker. So my final verdict, after considering all of the aspects and all of the sides of the coin, would be that it's deflationary and therefore it's going to appreciate in the future. But again, don't take this as a financial advice. Also, always do your own research. But this is my opinion on that. It's very subjective, but I believe the Daomaker token is going to appreciate in future thanks to strong team, strong tokenomics, very strong mechanics that they have, and just their overall approach. So now let's get to the most important question. Do I invest in Daomaker? And the answer, unfortunately, is no. And I'm going to explain you why. When I got into all of those ICOs, IDOs, and different token sales, this was back right after the war broke out in Ukraine. I'm from Ukraine, by the way, if you didn't know. But this should be kind of obvious from the Whisper logotype. It's like blue and yellow Ukrainian flag. And back then, the price of Daomaker was like $3 to $4. I needed to put in like $8,000 in order to get started. And I realized that although I could do it, I just thought that it's better to diversify and to invest in more smaller launchpad, which I did and which I regret about. Because during the bear market, the price of launchpad coins usually goes down. And with Daomaker, it went down by like 50%. But with other coins, launchpad like LunaPad, Infinity Pad, I don't know, Safe Launchpad, and other smaller ones, their price declined so much that right now it's a few cents. It went down by literally a few hundred times, whereas with Daomaker only twice, or only 2 times. And this harsh experience has made me learn a lesson that although this sounds kinda counterintuitive, it's always better to focus on top 3 launchpads and invest in them heavily instead of diversifying into 20 or 30 smaller ones. Because firstly, if you focus only on top 3, then you need to track like 10 to 12 maximum projects at the same time, not like 100 projects that are going to be launching on all of those 20 launchpads that you've invested in. And secondly, when you stake your tokens, they're much more likely to appreciate and you're much less likely to lose all of that value. Anyway, that's experience, and I really hope that after watching this video, you're not going to repeat the same mistake that I've made and going to focus on only top launchpads. Thank you so much for watching this video, and if you did enjoy, then please smash the like button, follow the Vesper channel, and also check out my Discord and my Telegram channel, where I publish a lot of very insightful and important information about different ICOs, fundraising platforms, IDOs, and some other useful things if you're in crypto. And please check the donation link in the description. If you donate to Ukraine, you're not only gonna make me happy, but millions of Ukrainians that are suffering from the Russian invasion. That was it. My name was Arseny, and see you in the next videos. Bye bye.